Hello, this is the second video clip of the tutorial in which I'm going to introduce the practical side of the training, and we'll look at our development environment, and I'm going to introduce what tools and what software, what operating system we're going to use for this training. So a quick background, we are going to use Oracle VirtualBox, which is provided by obviously from Oracle, and we have configured the Windows OS on the VirtualBox, which you can use to run the queries using pre-installed Oracle software. The appliance, which is the virtual machine with all pre-configurations for the dev work. That appliance is available. The link is provided in the description of this video, so you can download this appliance from there. And I'm going to show you, not in this video but in another video, how you can configure that appliance for setting up the development environment. So let's move on. Because we are using VirtualBox, so we're gonna log in, and normally we log in using the all control del, but in the virtual environment we just need to pass the control and the del key, which is equivalent to the all control del. So let me press all control, and it will control delete, which is equivalent to all control delete. I'm gonna type the password. See, and this password is also available as part of the solution that I have placed in the Git, and you can download the solution from the GitHub. The link has been provided in the description as well. So once you log on to the virtual machine, let's spin up the SQL developer. So you can see we are within the Windows 2019 operating system. And let me show you the resource, a quick point about the resources. My host machine is a heavy machine. It has 32 gig and 16 or 8 cores, I believe 8 cores. So I have allocated 10 gig to my virtual machine and 4 CPUs, so I can run Oracle with I would say handsome speed. Normally, we don't need to configure Oracle in these days during in the production environment. So that's the least you can imagine that anyone asks you to install Oracle software in the production environment, especially with the introduction of the cloud technologies. Most of the companies who are using Oracle databases, they already have the infrastructure in place, and all you need to use the existing infrastructure to either manipulate the databases or create new databases. So installation and configuration is the minimum part of the development side of any Oracle resource. By saying it, so we move towards the environment, towards the tool which we're going to use to interact with the Oracle. So let's go, and I have already placed the SQL developer on my start menu, but if you are unable to see it, what you can do, you can go and you can find the Oracle home. So in my case, it is Aura DB 12 home 1, and the indicator is going to have all the tools and the help files that will help you to configure Oracle on this machine. The good news, I have already configured the dev environment, so you don't need to do anything except running the SQL developer. You can see the SQL developer in here. You can right click and you can pin to start or unpin from the start. Because I've already pinned on the start menu, I'm gonna run it from the start. Gonna take some time and it will start the SQL developer for me. A bit about SQL Developer. SQL Developer is the graphical user interface that can help you to interact with Oracle, including all the objects. You can run the queries, you can even create the Oracle objects using the graphical user interface. So many, I would say, action that previously had to be performed through the plain script. Now you have, I would say, RAD or Rapid Application Development Tool, which is Oracle SQL Developer. You can use it to perform these tasks. In this tutorial, I'm not going to go into the details of SQL Developer. I will record another tutorial which help you to understand the SQL Developer in detail. But what I'm going to do in this tutorial, just to show you the uh, quick options that will help us in the upcoming videos for using this environment. So you can see I've already configured two connections. So once you have that virtual appliance, once you configure it, you're gonna see these accounts are already pre-configured and the passwords are saved. So you don't need to worry about any account configuration or connection configuration as well. But just for your information, out of interest, if we go right click, look at the properties. In the properties, you can see I have the connection name, and under connection name, I have the username and password. And there's one great thing with SQL Developer, you can assign a color. And normally we do it in the case when we are using development and the production environment from the same client machine, because that will help us to segregate the production from the development environment. Just a tip from the professional perspective. And by the color, you can see I've already given it a red color, although it's because it's a powerful user system. And if you already familiar, once we install the Oracle, it came with two users, sys and system, and both have DBA capabilities, like you can perform all kind of administration tasks through these users. But that is not scope of this course, so we are not going to go into detail, but just want to show you. And then we have in the bottom section, we have the host name, because I'm running from the local host, so it's the local host, which is referring obviously to your machine and equivalent to 127.0.0.1. We have a default port. I'm not going to change the port because we are not obviously running from the production environment. Just keep in mind, in the production environment, your actual connection string refer to completely different values, and those are based on the configuration that the infrastructure team or the cloud team has configured for you. All you need to actually get the credentials, get the right configuration, place it in the corresponding boxes, hit connect, and it will connect you to the Oracle instance. Even before the connection, you can test your connectivity, and you're going to see the success message in here. There's a very powerful feature. If you want to create a new connection and you want to use the existing value, all you need to do, just change the connection name. If you want, you can change the other values as well. I'm going to change the color for this connection. Let me put dark green. And if I save it, you'll see that it has created a new connection. So it's not overwriting it. However, if we just change any value in here and then save it. So for example, I'm not touching the connection name, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color to bit light, because I'm not going to use change any other user that have the system admin rights, because I haven't created yet. So now if I save it, you will see it won't create a new connection. It override the connection because I didn't change the connection name. I just changed the connection properties on the screen. So if I save it, you can see no new connection has been created. Obviously, we can test this new connection. All good in here. Come in here. So we have, like I mentioned, most of this training will use HR account, which is the built-in schema that Oracle has provided to us for all kind of lab and development exercises. And then keep in mind these exercises which we're gonna do using HR account, the professional or practical or industrial work is more like close to it. Like you will see similar kind of requirement in your day-to-day job. So it's not like you are doing completely separate thing. Normally in the academics we have some predefined queries which we run and we understand. But when we come towards the real industry, we see completely different side of the business, because most of the requirements are driven by the business. So sometimes the requirements come towards us are really challenging, and that's where a lot of academic knowledge goes back, and we will see how we can address these challenges based on the time constraint and based on the requirements. So separate discussion as usual. I'm gonna connect by hitting connect to HR account. As soon as you connect to the account, it's going to open the blank window for you where you can write the queries. So that's the indicator that you have connected successfully. And you can see on the right top, you will see your connection. You can see we have list of connection. Just keep in mind, once you are running the query, you need to make sure that the right connection has been selected in this area. Otherwise, you're gonna run against a different connection, and that might confuse you depend upon the nature of the queries. Okay, so let me expand. And even as soon as the connection has opened, you have noticed the icon has been changed. The top two icons are more like showing the close connection, but as soon as the connection is open, the icon has been changed, and the small plug is showing that the connection is open for work. And that's the indicator. Like we can see all the objects are coming in the tree structure. Top tables, views, addition views, indexes, packages, procedure function, all the way down to the other user, which are more like the schema. So one another tip, an important thing to keep in mind, that in Oracle, everything is bounded by the schema, or I would say bounded by the user. We normally use schema and the user interchangeably within the Oracle terms, but it will be used differently with other database software. So whatever we will create, that's gonna be bounded by, or I would say contained by a schema. So in this case, because we have our schema HR or user HR, so HR has couple of tables which we can see under HR. Once we go towards the advanced level and we create a new user, we create those objects, we create separate objects for that user. Those objects will not appear in here, because those objects are bound to that new user, and HR and these tables are bound to HR user. So we're not gonna see these tables in any other schema until unless that user has additional permission, or I would say until unless that user has more power to see other user objects as well. Separate topic, obviously, from the administration perspective. So I'll keep this video clean, because we are just looking at the environment and the development side of the tutorial. So I'm not going to include any sort of admin query at this stage. The only thing I will show it to you, because at that I will conclude the video, to run a very simple query that we will see in our upcoming video. What Select is and how that query has been built, we're going to study it in our next video in detail. So don't worry about it in this video. All you can see, we have seen the query in the query, or we have written the query in the query window, and the results are coming in the result pane. I have pressed Control Enter. You can run it from this option as well, from this dark green run icon. And as soon as you hover your mouse on it, you're going to see the Control Enter, which is also showing that is a short key. You can run it from the keyboard by pressing Control Enter. There is a trick. So the once you press Control Enter, the output comes in the tabular format. However, there is another option which is next to it called Run Script, which is equivalent to pressing F5 from your keyboard. Once you press it, the output turns into textual format. So that's typical, I would say, SQL command prompt output. Previously, before SQL Developer, Oracle has a couple of tools that run from the command prompt, or I would say on Windows command prompt or PowerShell, or on Linux it's going to be terminal window, and Unix in terminal windows as well. So the output, once you get the output from the query, that will come in the textual format, and we will call it a script output. So after the introduction of SQL Developer, although they are showing us the output in the tabular format, but they are also keeping the script output, which is the textual based output of the same query, just for a reference purpose. But obviously, you're not gonna like once you start seeing the query result in the tabular format, which is much cleaner and nicer, and I would say nice to display on the screen. So compared to that, script output looks a bit ugly. You can ignore it, but just to keep in mind, these are the displayed option available once you run your query. So that's a quick introduction of the development environment, which we're gonna use to run all the script that we will build as a part of upcoming video trainings. So if you have any question, comments, put it in the comment section, and I'll respond it accordingly. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like or subscribe the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.